So hello and welcome to the Limitless You podcast with me, Katie, and I'm going to do this introduction of who I've got with me today a little bit differently. I met Joe in October of 2023. We're now September 2024, so almost a year we've known one another. Joe came along to the course that I was doing alongside local gym and the local recovery college for like mental health and wellbeing. And since then, I've offended him. I've talked his ear off, pestered him. He can't get rid of me. But no, we started off connection of sharing we've both experienced mental health, then client and coach, then friend, but just a great person to have in my life. So I feel very, very lucky in that year we've came full circle. But I just want to say thank you very much, Joe, for doing this. You know how important this one was to get you to do it with me, first and foremost. So thank you very much.
Nailed down, isn't I? I've got to admit that what you just put through, yeah, I would agree. Most of that's correct, but I suppose I've been just as bad myself at times, so it's worth it. And funnily enough, I was just talking about the programme today and how it went together and how much, like, being in the gym and then leaving the gym didn't matter how much I'd done or how much I always put 100% in. And then every time I left the gym with a smile. So that's what stays with me. So,
and being offended at the same time is always a bonus. It was I said this to you the other day. Within the first hour of meeting Joe, I wanted him to put a skirt on.
Yeah.
And try and come in one of the weeks with a skirt on, but it never happened. So, not that I'm still holding a grudge against you.
You've done the kilt. What you got us in a kilt? That's about as close as we'll get.
No, pink skirt is what I was looking for. But anyway.
Apparently Panto's going again, so you never know. Panto season.
Listen, you're still waiting in your email, so keep checking your junk mail just in case. But but I wanted to ask you first, who is Joe?
I think not so long ago I would have said just a dad. Do you know what I mean? And keeping things running and just me. But I mean, now it's like I'm kind of rediscovering who I am. I know who I am, basically. Do you know what I mean? I'm just an open, friendly. I don't know how else to explain that, but open and friendly, and I enjoy helping people and seeing people find their own voice and stuff. So I think that's mainly what gets me ticking.
I would totally agree that sums it up very, very well. And we connected very quickly on me sharing my story and everybody on the course to make them feel that I wasn't just like a teacher coming in to teach a course. It was very much from experience, from things that I learned to help me. And it's very important, positive mental health, positive well-being. And it's grown important in how we've been able to go through the last year since our first ever meeting.
Yeah.
Why should it be important to give context? Why should it be important for every single one of us in today's world, today's life?
Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? But
massive question.
It is. And oddly enough, you can think of answers to that now.
Yeah.
But if you were to ask me that same question a year ago, as we were just coming in, it would have been a big question, and it would be one that I would struggle with. And I'd be thinking, well, what does that really mean? But now it's like it's taken on board that your well-being is just as important. Your mental well-being is just as important as your physical well-being. In the essence that you overlook your mental well-being and you don't think of it as something that you have to maintain or that you have to feed in a way. Like, do stuff that's creative or do stuff that's positive, physical. No, do stuff you enjoy. And a lot of the time we tend to forget about all the stuff that we've done that made us happy and the reasons why we stopped doing it. And part of them is just that you grew up. Do you know what I mean? You were told that that's a childish thing, you shouldn't be doing that. And I don't believe that anymore. It's like, if it brings you joy, then go ahead and do it. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're not hurting yourself, then crack on.
I think that's a really nice way to describe it. And I remember we spoke about it in the very first week we did the course, and you said a phrase of, you know, what do you want? What do you want to be able to do? And you said back, I want to be able to open my blinds in the morning. Now, I had never thought of that expression until you said it and you explained it. So, explain it again. Why did you say that?
So it was before. It's like as things changed for me, as things it was through physical illness, and through the physical illness, the mental well-being started to drop with it. So it was the realization that what I'd started to do was lock myself away and use that as an excuse, physical well-being and everything else. Then there was days that you just can't get up. It's like, I can't be arsed. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way it went. And then there was like a moment that I'm glad I got to where I'm going, this can't be it. It can't be that this is how a day-to-day, this is how I'm going to live the rest of my life. So one of the first things that I done was get up and open the blinds, open the curtains and let the light in. And then from there, it's like harder to just, you could pull the blankets over your head, but you've had to get up and open the blinds. So for there, it's a case I've opened the blinds, that's my day started. What's next? What's the next task? And then I do the next task and the next task. And then through that, I came across different coping mechanisms, and one of them's like a 2-minute rule. So that's what I would, from opening the blinds, went to the 2-minute rule. And that was like, if you see something that needs done, it'll only take 2 minutes. Don't put it off. Don't think about it. Don't write it down. Don't think it. Do it. Do what you've got to do, and then go on. And then at the end of the day, if all you achieved was getting up out your bed, opening the blinds, and doing 1 2-minute rule thing, then you were going to your bed with an achievement. So it then folds into gratitude. So you're being grateful that you got up that day. You'd be grateful that you done something. Do you know what I mean? It made it easier to get up the next day.
And to some people, like we've shared many times, like some people like, oh, that's a lot of nonsense, you know, that's a lot of shite. Okay, to some people it might be, but the likes of us who have experienced low points of well-being, low points of mental health, physical health, it's really important. Like that's a big thing for us to do. And I wrote down about the biggest lessons in prioritising yourself. What has it taught you that you feel it could teach other people from your experience of what it's taught you?
I think that there's a lot less that's out with our grasp than we actually think there is. And we all seem to be programmed in a way that we look at the negatives in ourselves before we'll address any positive. So if we have got a positive, then or an achievement that we've done, we tend not to acknowledge it. We tend not to praise ourselves for it. And when other people praise us for it, we actually do our best to deflect for the praise. We do our best to say, no, it was nothing, or that just came naturally, or that's just something I do, rather than going, thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
We did speak about this the other day. We did speak about it. And we were saying how, and I've said it to you numerous times about how hard it is to accept a compliment, especially when it's something so nice. If you say something rude to me or negative to me, I could accept it. But saying something positive like a compliment, I couldn't. And I asked you the other day, you know, how different are you because of how you can accept things like that now? And it was because somebody told you that you were amazing. But the Joe you were a year ago wouldn't be able to have accepted it the way you have. And I loved how you explained that. So if you could explain it again, the difference in accepting that and using that as not only just a gratification, but as a little bit of momentum in the journey that you're on right now.
Basically, when you don't believe in yourself, when somebody plays that compliment, you think that it's for something, to get something from you or to use you in a certain way. And I don't know whether that's through being complimented before about how our work was going or how fast you worked or whatever. And then it was like, stroking an ego so as you would keep that pace up or keep achieving the goals that you were achieving. Do you know? And it's like, so when you get it and it's genuine and somebody's saying it, the back of my head was still saying, no, what is it that you're really after? Just tell me what you're after and we'll have the conversation there. You don't need to butter me up.
Mm-hmm.
And now, well, I've had somebody saying to me how genuine I was at one point, and I thought to myself, I've never actually thought about how I come across. Do you know what I mean? And that was like the start point to accepting. And as genuine, I thought, well, it was a kind of strange one for me to hear, because I'm going, does that mean that some people come across as false? I couldn't understand it. But then when I kind of thought about it and went away, and I'm thinking about the genuine and authentic was another one. And I'm going, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
For me, and once that sunk in, that was kind of roady. So hearing that compliment is like a recognition of the work that I'm actually putting in. Do you know? And I realised that the only way that I can recognise that was by putting the work in.
Mm-hmm. And how hard has the work been that you've put in?
I'd love to say it's really difficult and it's like climbing a mountain and all the rest of it, but it's not. It's like if you think of it like a stone rolling.
Okay.
So if you're like a massive boulder and you've got to get it going, so the first thing, inertia is to get it going. So that momentum that you put in right at the start to be focused and to start the ball rolling. And then once the ball starts rolling, it seems to take on a life of its own. So it builds its own momentum and it takes you with it. If you get what I mean. So at first it was hard to sit down with a book and read a book about even the Time to Think book and stuff like that. The badass use and the badass habits and stuff like that. So it was hard to sit and read a book like that coming from let's say a scheme mindset where I'm streetwise, I don't need books to know anything and I don't need to know that. That's all rubbish, like you were saying. But when you start to read it and you start to realise a bit about yourself, you kind of go, do you know what, I'm enjoying this and I'd like to learn more. Or there'd be a section that spoke about a different book. You go, I need to find that book and read that book because that sparks something.
So, in all of that, and obviously you wish you could say it was difficult, right? Okay. Joe's got it easy. For us, no. Streetwise, Joe. Sorry, I'll slag him for that after. He knows I'll remember that. I will definitely be slagging you for that later on with your slack cap there, Joseph. Nay, Mara. What's happening? Like, how curious now do you feel that all the hard work, because you do work hard and you have worked hard. I'm obviously privy to that. And I get to share my experiences with you. We've got a very good relationship in that. And like, how curious does it make you about not only your own journey going forward, but the curiosity of how the narrative can be changed on positive mental health?
Right. I'm trying to kind of eke through all the parts of that there. So again, me saying that it was kind of easy, but it is difficult to start with. Obviously, it's difficult, and then once you get started, you start to see things. Once there was certain things that was made aware to me, and certain strategies, I suppose, that I started using, and I couldn't help but think, why are these not implemented earlier into our school system? Do you know what I mean? It's not thinking. It's not Northern Hemisphere thinking. Do you know what I mean? It's maybe the mindfulness and what have you is like a Southern Hemisphere thing.
Yeah.
So it's not something that we would bring in. We're more channeled to learn a role, a direction, and the direction is to work and consume.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And not think about who we are as people, and not think about our freedoms, or think about taking time out, or thing. It's just that we're schooled in a way that's bring them in, burn them out, and then get them out the door, and then bring set in. So I think when you start to use, and don't get me, there is some great ideas come out of Scotland and Europe and everything else, but I think like Asia and everything has its beat for that mental well-being, and even Scandinavia, and they were saying they've got the highest amount of therapists, so they must have the highest amount of mental problems, and it's actually the opposite. You have the highest amount of therapists because they actually look after themselves and they look after their well-being.
I remember I said I was in Copenhagen a few weeks ago at the beginning of September, and you not remember I said to you I read about it and it said it was one of the happiest places in the world. It was like the most positive, and I'm saying to you, like how is that possible? But I think you're right. I think as a West, and I've said that to you before, one of my coach that he met somebody in Bali that said as the West of the world, we are so negative. And it's like, is that what we are known for? And I was like, yeah, it's so easy for like me and you, we could be so negative talking about something. I've said that to you, like I say that to you quite often, like I know how to be negative, I know how to have shit behaviours, I know how to have bad mental health, I know how to be crap at my well-being, like I know how to do that so well, so I'm really good at being negative. But actually I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be the narrative in the West of we're the negative West. Like I want to be the minimal or the minority that's not. And I think like we talk about it a lot and rant about it. Well, I rant about it a lot. I moan at Joe, to be honest, about it. And like, you know, we've talked about how like prioritising yourself, having a focus, having and being in the right surrounding with people. Like that, I think that's a key to it. And having, like as you say, you start the ball rolling, and then like that ball can get to like level 1. Then the ball at level 2 is better, level 3, level 4. So like it all connects like really, really well. And when you were at your very lowest, did you ever think you would get better?
I don't. Your thinking isn't. If I'm totally honest, your thinking isn't on getting better when you're at your lowest, and it's not even. It's not even thinking that you want to wake up the next morning. It's one of the ones where when you are at your lowest, you're in a very, very dark place. Do you know what I mean? So
I couldn't see any light. I couldn't see any light.
No, and it's funny that you should ask that, and that's the first I've actually thought of that. And that's, as you were saying that there, or saying the question, I'm going, I can't think that at that point when I was so low that I had a thought in my head that said, yeah, things are going to be better. And then I come to today, and then when I'm speaking to other people, and I'm speaking the recovery college, when I'm speaking to people that's coming through the doors, and I'm saying to them, like 2 years ago, I was sitting where you were sitting. Do you know what I mean? And they look at you, and you can see that glint of hope or thing that there is something forward. But some of the people would have been in the same position where they couldn't see a way out, but then all of a sudden something sparked them, something inside and drives us. There's something takes over and says, do you know what? There's more to life than what you're doing, and you need to snap out. Yeah. And I get that it kind of that sounds a bit pull yourself together, which is something that I'm not saying, but there's something inside of you that either decides you're going to have to snap out of this and do something, or you need really strong friends that's going to say, see, at this point, you have a problem, and you're going to have to think about addressing it, because you can't tell somebody you need to do this or you need to do that, because it makes you do the opposite.
I was going to say it makes you. I was speaking about resent earlier on today, and resentment is like, if you say black, I'll say white. It will be the complete opposite, and maybe make behaviours and different things go very differently. I always remember I wrote down when I journaled it because I just couldn't understand what was happening to me. It was like we went for a walk not so long ago and I was talking to you about depersonalisation because I'd never heard of it before, and I started researching it, and it's basically like losing your personality and losing who you are. Like you're so like fuzzy all the time. And I felt like that was me, but my quote was, when black is black, it's always black. But when white is white, it's light. And all I wanted for was when white was white to be the light. I needed, or I wanted the light, but I could never see. Everything I seen was black. Everything I thought, like even, I can't tell you where I was some of the time because I don't remember. It's like a blackout. It's honestly the weirdest kind of thing when I think back on it. It's like going out and having a drink and being so pissed that you don't remember how you got home. You wake up the next day and think, oh my God, how did I get home? And that's very scary when you put it in that context and perspective. And it's like, yeah, I wasn't thinking about getting better. I was just searching for this light that I never believed would shine. And I couldn't even tell you my turning point or my little moment. Like I can't. I would like to hope one day maybe it will come back to me, but I don't remember when it was. But I started pushing the ball. I started pushing that boulder, and I suppose now you can say, well, I am better because I've worked hard. You know, you've committed. You've taken 2 minutes to do something you don't want to do. You've opened your blinds. Like, it's bringing all that back together. And I wrote down, if you could speak to a previous version of yourself right now, what would you say? I asked you this a year ago.
You know what? Just on that and just on thinking, I don't think I'd give myself any advice. I'd just say smile more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think
do you think you're grumpy?
Maybe a while ago. Like half an hour when I couldn't find my glasses. So.
The grumpy pantomime dame. Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I knew that was coming. Damn it. No, I think if we were, I think we spoke about this. Like, if you were to go back and change something, and it's like the knock-on effect. So yeah, fine, I'll go back and I'll change this, and I'll not do that, and that'll make this better. But we don't know the knock-on effect of what changing that would be. So although yes, I have moments in my life where I've made mistakes. I regret the mistakes enough that I want to go back in time and change them and risk losing who I am today. No. So I'm quite at peace that way, where what happened in the past, and there's not much I can do about it. So you just live for today.
If we held on to that, I mean, you wouldn't open your blinds in the morning. Let's put it in the context. You wouldn't open your blinds in the morning. You definitely wouldn't. And I think like the gym for me seems to be that place where I can escape. And I think you only realise it's an escape for me in the sense of when I feel a bit stressed, or I'll reach out to you and say, oh, see this happened today, or like yeah. I've developed that network, like that, you know, that kind of inner where we connect and where we like I said to you a few weeks ago, I was like, oh, I just don't know what this, and off the back of us having I text you and I was like, oh yeah, I've wrote stuff down, I've wrote ideas down, like I used it to my advantage of that momentum rather than seeing it as I was coming to rant. I was coming to that where a previous version of myself would have been delighted at just ranting and raving, thinking that was the answer, but it wasn't the answer.
Yeah, I know, but a rant's got its purpose as well. You know that. It's like, it's good to get a rant, it's good to get in and just get something out, and to have like the relationship that we've built up over the year, and to have somebody to just turn around and say, do you know what, I'm not feeling it, and this is what's happening, and just get it out. Do you know what I mean? And then once it's out, and once you actually hear yourself saying stuff and going, that really doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Why was I creating such a fuss about that? Just let it go. And yeah.
And I think like us having this conversation is really highlighting that it doesn't matter where you meet a person, how you meet a person, who they are, what age they are. it's about what you connect on, what your maybe experiences are. Like I call you my words of wisdom. Like I need some Joe words of wisdom. I say that to you constantly. And it's just like every time we walk away from a conversation we've had, or we've been in the gym, or, you know, I just find it's like a little extra dose of momentum that I needed, but I come and get it from the right people. You know, and that's, I want people to, you know, if I can say like any message to give out would be, you know, utilise the people that really make a difference to how you feel, or, you know, they'll take a moment to reply to a text, or take that time to come and have a coffee, to, you know, sit. If I wrote an essay, Joe would come and would read my essay or tell me to rewrite it if it was rubbish. You know, that's where I think there's an underrated power in all of this, especially off the back of what we've spoken about, and because you've got more involved in different things and you've evolved, like that's having such a greater impact on who you are today.
Yeah, it's kind of harder. I've got options now that I never had a year ago, and it's really hard to kind of tie in what way I want to go with it, because all of the options that I have now have links with creativity and links with engaging with people and keeping connections. And like you say, it's like the conversations we have. I know that if I've got something that I want to talk about and something I want to get off my chest, then I can talk to you. And it's like you say, it's not, it crosses age, it crosses all the different barriers, everything, just because we connect on a level that's like, we want the best for each other. We want the best for everybody that we come in contact with. And then you have it, there you go. It's genuine. It's genuine appreciation, and it's the non-judgment. So you could tell me anything in that sense, and I wouldn't judge you for what you were saying. I'd just listen. So I think that's what you need, and you do the same. You just listen, and then, like I say, as you're explaining back, you hear your own words, and then you come to your own conclusions as well.
Yeah, I think the power in talking, the power in listening, the power in having connections and relationships and building that. And what would you say that, apart from all of that, that would be good for someone if they're listening to this and they're like, I want to have better mental health, I want to have a better level of well-being. What steps, what could, like, words help, or steps to help, or what could someone do to just make a difference to their own journey?
Again, that's massive, because each of us is our own individual. So when you are struggling with your well-being, each is a lot of different ways to deal with that. I think it would just be to kind of take things slow. Take things slow and to kind of assess where it is that you're feeling. And there's a brain dump thing. So I think that would probably be the best place to start. To get yourself a sheet of paper and just everything that you're feeling, no matter if it's bad, no matter how bad it is, write it out in a piece of paper. So for some reason, when you're doing that exercise, it kind of the angst that's in it comes right through you, right down the arm, right into the pen, onto the page, and then rip the page up, or burn the page, or burn it safely. Don't burn the house down.
Aye, okay, yes. Health and safety hazards, risk assessment, yep.
Just you better put a wee stamp on there, but not. So, yeah, and there is a release. There is a release, and there's the time you're looking at it and looking over it and going and rethinking again. Is this worth me feeling like this? I mean, there's times when we've all had an argument with somebody, say, and we replay that argument in our head. But that other person's usually away doing whatever they're doing, and they're happy as Larry away.
Yep.
And you've got them in a roller coaster going round your head, doing the same thing, and they're having fun in there, and you're remonstrating over it, going, "What could I have done? What could I have done?" And then you just have to say, no, the amusements are shut today. These are out.
Well, I've started journaling this year, started journaling through the summer, and I've been trying to get Joe to do it. So when Joe talks about the bit of paper, Joe has actually now got a journal. It's a furry journal with Elmo's face on it.
It's not Elmo, it's Animal.
Oh, I thought it was Elmo. It looks like Elmo. Looks like Elmo.
The other one was Kermit, but we couldn't get a.
I just think, like, and the funniness that the way joking things like that, like you shared your first page with me, and while that's such a nice thing that it's between me and Joe, because it was such a nice and unexpected that you felt comfortable to do that, it was, for me, it was like the pride of knowing that if we could just get you to do it once, it would get you thinking and putting questions down, and everything that you put in, it was exactly what I wanted you to experience. Even if you just do it once and you never do it again, that was the importance of it. So that, again, falls back into what you said about the brain dump. But in all of that, and all of our conversation that we've had, Joe, what are your superpowers?
Opening the blinds.
Apart from that, I told you not to say that. I told you that didn't count.
Just the thing that you listen and to not jump in, be non-judgmental, and just accept life for what it is.
That it?
That's it. That's my superpowers. I'm no.
I think you can go one more than that. Dig deeper, Joseph. Dig deeper.
Nah, I've not got anything more than that. I'm quite happy at that.
Really?
Aye, honestly.
I think you've got a lot of superpowers.
Aye.
I think you're resilience. I think you're resilient. Because I've been in a fortunate position this year where I've been able to support you through some challenges in different aspects, and the way in which you were so prepared for reality, prepared for circumstance, situation that might have been presented, you're just resilience level, and to still turn up and to still have the support in your background and your own support network that supported you in that. For me, that was a superpower of resilience that you missed out when you said that. That's what I was hoping you would say, because you've gained more superpower with that.
It'll sound terrible, but I actually forgot about it. Not forgot about it, actually, because of what it was. Yeah. I actually don't see that. That's what I'm saying. That's me, but I don't see that as something. That was me just being me. So to me, it's like me being open and non-judgmental and things. Yeah. So I'd forgot about the whole period of time when I just focused on getting through days.
Yeah. So, and that is, it's like what I've, like when I said to you about what my mantra is when I say about limitless you talk, is using your everyday powers and making them super. You're a prime example of that. Nothing changed in terms of you went out and bought, like, I don't know, things. It wasn't materialistic or anything. It was just using your current situations, using your own environment, and just using it positively. And that's it. That's why you're now at this point. That's why there's opportunities there and different things that are going in your future. And that's, for me, very special that I get to be a pest in it. So yeah, just may as well say it like that. Yeah.
I get that. But that was part of like looking at reality, isn't it? That big bit of looking at reality and then seeing what it was, and then actually thinking about your impact and your impact on the people around you. Do you know what I mean? And you, as much as what you have to prepare for in life to survive in life. This all sounds kind of vague because nobody knows the background.
I don't think anybody needs to know the background. No, it's how you get through that.
So it was a case of there was options to make. You could go one way or the other. And the way I chose to see it for worst case scenario.
Yep.
And then bring it right the way through, and just whatever came from it. And at the end of the day, it was that I couldn't have hoped for a better result when it came.
Yep.
But the relief was kind of bittersweet. It was strange. It was that was the moment that was enough. Do you know what I mean? And
yeah,
the tears were shed and what have you, and then it was up and started again. But it was interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And I just want to thank you for coming on and doing this. This is very much out your comfort zone. I've been annoying you about it because I knew how good, and obviously to share a conversation and let others hear it is special. I think my second thank you is for sticking with me.
That's
been
easy.
Very much an added value. Very easy, amazing, and without the opportunity that we had last year, we wouldn't have got to where we are now. And the opportunities together that we're trying to create and trying to help bring positive mental health and wellbeing higher again, especially where we are in our area in Ayrshire. But just thank you for sharing and being inspirational. But you know that anyway, and I'll just continue to be a pest. So Joe, thank you very much for coming on and doing this. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. You know I love this kind of thing, and that if it helps just one person, then that's brilliant. Do you know what I mean?
It's yeah. Just if you are that one person that we are helping by this conversation, then yeah, we've done what we set out to do.
That's it.
Thank you.